Ladies and gentlemen, ever notice how when you're away from your dog, your brain suddenly turns into a 24/7 puppy channel? And no, I'm not a mind reader. Your secrets are safe. I just know this because I'm right there with you. But here's the real head scratcher. Do our dogs miss us too, or are we just the people who open the food bag and occasionally throw a ball? I mean, do they think about us as often as we think about them? Are they obsessed with us, or are we just another tree in the park they sniff and forget? Picture this. Is your dog sitting there at home, pondering your absence like some four-legged philosopher? So let's get all Christopher Nolan here and dive into how dogs perceive time. To figure out if they miss us, we gotta know if they realize we're actually coming back at all. Otherwise, we're just a wagging tail theory in a universe of tennis balls. So before you dive down this rabbit hole with me, hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on more deep canine thoughts. Alright folks, let me hit you with a mind bender. Dogs, right? They don't get time like we do. We're all about seconds, minutes, hours. But imagine if you didn't know what a second or an hour was. That's the topsy-turvy reality dogs are living in, and no wonder their days are a bit rough. So, if dogs don't have a Rolex tucked under all that fur, how on earth do they get time? Honestly, this blew my mind like a confetti cannon at a kid's birthday party. We all know dogs have this super-powered sniffer. I mean, it's like they got a PhD in nosology. They can literally smell time. Yeah, that's right. They sniff out what time it is. Talk about a nose for news. And they're crazy good with routines. Feed your dog at the same time each day and boom, they know it. Leave and come back at your regular hours. It's like they're waiting with a glass of wine and a newspaper. Even though they're not peeking at their little fur-covered pocket watches, they know exactly when it's chow time or when you're about to roll in like the parades in town. Dogs, man, they got it all figured out without a calendar in sight. So how do they do it, huh? You know your house smells different at various times of the day. And sure, with your human nose, you might not catch a whiff, but for a dog, oh, it's like a festival of aromas. They're like little scent detectives, figuring out what's happening and when. For them, it's like having a wristwatch made of smells. Now, if you're someone who leaves and comes back home around the same time every day, guess what? Your dog knows your schedule better than you do. They got this super sniffer clock going on, and let me tell you, it works better than any smartwatch. But here's the million-dollar question. Does your dog miss you when you're gone? Judging by how often they wait for us at the door. Probably yes, and don't worry. Science backs this up. Studies show that when dogs reunite with their humans, especially after a long time apart, it's like they've hit the puppy lottery. The longer the separation, the bigger the wag fest. But I can't help but wonder, how long could you be gone before they forget you? Like, does it have to be years? Or just a really long grocery trip? Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, we'll come back to this, promise. But you know what these wild emotions from our dogs say, right? They actually miss us. I mean, of course they do, but you have to wonder, what on earth do they think about when we're not around? For some dogs, life is just a smooth sail. They nap, gnaw on toys, stare out of windows as if they're pondering existential questions, and roll around on the floor like they're auditioning for a doggy ballet. Then, out of nowhere, their noses do a little sniff, and they're like, ah, yes, that's my human scent. And they bolt to greet you at the door with more enthusiasm than a kid on a sugar rush. But for other dogs, separation is the apocalypse. I'm talking anxiety galore. These poor pups start pacing, whining, scratching doors like they're trying to tunnel their way to freedom. and howl like they're auditioning for a canine opera. Cue the neighbors knocking to make sure you haven't started a dog choir in your living room. And the chewing, oh, the chewing. Pillows and upholstery become their personal chew toy buffet. I mean, sure, it's a bit tragic, but hey, it's a clear sign they care. Studies show that separation anxiety is more common among dogs who are head over paws in love with their humans. So even though it might drive you up the wall, remember, your dog flipping out when you leave means you've done something right. Congratulations, you're officially family. So how long does a dog's memory really last, huh? We all know that if we leave in the morning and come back at night, the dog remembers us and acts like we've been gone for a decade. Go on a week-long vacation, leaving Fido with a pet sitter, and he still remembers. He's over the moon happy when you return, like you brought him a winning lottery ticket. But what if you leave your dog with friends for 6 months while you go backpacking in New Zealand? Or jet off on a 2-year work assignment and leave him with your mom? 3 years? 10 years? At which point does the dog say, "Who are you again?" Is love stronger than memory, or does it just depend on the number of treats? You know, folks, dogs have a memory system that's as unique as their ability to make us feel like the worst humans for leaving the house. Seriously, their memory isn't like ours. They don't have this episodic memory thing where they remember stuff based on dates or times. Nope, they got this amazing little thing called associative memory. It's all about the people, places, emotions, and most importantly, smells. If you got a heart, and if you're here tonight, I assume you do, you've probably seen those videos where dogs reunite with their owners after what feels like a million years. And boom, they recognize them instantly. It's like a furry version of a feel-good TV show that never fails to make you blubber. Why? Because dogs remember us through their feelings and that oh-so-familiar scent. Just a couple of sniffs and suddenly, it's like a highlight reel of happy memories starts playing in their doggy brains. So yes, your dog will remember you forever. As long as you keep that signature smell, you know, the one that no amount of cologne can ever really cover up. Let's hope it's a good one, right? I mean, you could vanish from your dog's life for 10 years and they'd still recognize you the moment you walked back in the door. Lost weight, changed your hair, doesn't matter. Your scent is like their personal Wikipedia page on you that never gets deleted. But hey, just because they'd recognize you doesn't mean it's a walk in the park to leave them for too long. We all know who's really in charge, and it's not us. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about a subject near and dear to many of us: leaving our dogs alone. Now, if you ever find yourself having to part ways with your furry friend for a long time, there are a few things to avoid, and let me tell you, making a grand exit is not one of them. It's like throwing a surprise party, just without the party. I mean, picture this. You shower your dog with hugs and kisses, whisper sweet nothings in their ear, and then, bam, you're gone. Poof. It's like going from rock concert levels of excitement to a ghost town in 0 seconds. Your dog's left thinking, what just happened? It's emotional whiplash, folks. Instead, here's a pro tip. Walk out and come back in as casually as a teenager sneaking in past curfew. Act like your exit and return are no big deal. You'll be doing your dog's nerves a favor. But here's the real kicker. Dogs love a good time. Boredom is their kryptonite. So give them all the toys, puzzles, squeaky stuff, and maybe even a playlist of smooth jazz or whatever dogs are into these days to keep them entertained while you're away. And let's address this. If you come home to find a pillow shredded like it's been through a zombie apocalypse, don't lose your cool. Don't shout. Your dog's not sitting there plotting world domination. They're just like, hey, I had a good fluff party. Punishment? Bad idea. To a dog, it's like you walk in the door and suddenly transform into a grumpy old man shaking his fist. Instead, stay calm. Focus on prevention with positive training. Before you know it, you'll come home to find your furniture in the same number of pieces you left it. So remember, if your dog loves you so much they can't handle the breakup, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to help them feel safe and sound, and maybe, just maybe, they'll leave that pillow alone next time. You know, dogs are like those friends who absolutely live for routines. They love knowing exactly when things happen, like clockwork. So if your schedule is like a Swiss clock and one day you come home a little late, they're like, all right, exception to the rule, I'll let it slide this time. But if your timetable looks more like a Picasso painting, your dog's gonna have a real hard time finding its inner peace. And hey, if you're leaving your pup with a dog sitter for a while, make sure they stick to the script. Your dog doesn't need some stand-in who thinks routine is a type of pasta. Now, dogs love you for many reasons, and apparently one of them is your scent. So do your pooch a favor and leave them something that smells like you, like an old t-shirt. It's basically their version of aromatherapy. Have you seen those fancy pet cameras these days? They're next level. Some even have two-way audio so you can talk to your dog while you're out. Not that they're giving you a round of applause in your absence, but hey, they'll hear your voice and you might feel a little less guilty for ditching them. So do dogs think about us when we're not home? Oh, absolutely, sometimes a bit too much. Like a furry little soap opera going on in their heads. So make sure to show her you care. Use any method you like. Just maybe avoid petting her on the head too much. Turns out dogs aren't as fond of head pats as we thought. Who knew, right? Subscribe to the channel and catch the next video. You'll discover even more mind-blowing doggy insights.